What is food security in India, or what is food security first? So food security, for a person, there are certain things which are required. First of all, air. Second thing is food. Then various other things like the resources, roti, kapda and makan, all those things. But the basic thing to move a body, to maintain a body and to work is food. So every citizen of the country, wherever it is, requires food. If a person is not getting food, he is food insecure. So what is food security? This has three aspects. First of all, the availability, then the accessibility, and then the affordability. So these are three A's. For a person or a citizen, food security means food should be available. That is, availability of food means food production within the country. That is, the food should be produced in a very good amount in the country. And if the food is not available, then the imports of food should be done. And then there should be a stock, a buffer stock, a stock in any kind of situation, calamity, this stock can be used. This is the availability. So everyone should have the availability of food. And what is food we are talking about? Basically, we are talking about the grains, that is the staple food which we talk, like the roti and chawal, etc., bread and rice. So these are the basic food ingredients that everyone wants to sustain, and others also to make a balanced diet. Second thing which comes is accessibility. What is the accessibility? That is, a person should reach to the food, or the food item should reach to the person without any distance or without any problem. That is, it should be easily accessible to this guy. The third one is that the samarthya, or the person should have enough money in his pocket to buy this food in sufficient, safe and nutritious food manner. That is, whatever the dietary needs of a person. So a person would need what? For eyes, he may need vitamin A. For his bones, he may need calcium. So all these, body parts and working of a body requires various dietary needs, nutritious food. So a person should get, food security means, he should get with his pocket, whatever he has, sufficient, safe and nutritious food. So these are the three aspects of food security. And in our country, specifically, we have PDS, that is Public Distribution System. So all the people at all times, food security depends on the public distribution system. Also, I'll talk about this PDS in detail. Then we have government vigilance, that is, government should look after this, that all the execution and the distribution of food is taking place properly to all the people who are standing in the last of the queue. So standing at the end of the queue, everyone should get it. And time to time action and security of this food, wherever there is a problem, it needs to be surfaced or it needs to be distributed properly whenever there is a situation of any problem or calamity. So the food security, this means availability, as we saw just now, the adequate food supply of basic food stuff. The nirdhan people or poor people, they want rice and grains for their basic needs. So even that should be available. There was a World Food Summit in 1995, and what was declared there, that food security at the individual, household, regional, national and global level, that is everywhere, exists when all people all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. So this declaration, this further recognizes that poverty eradication is essential to improve access to food. If someone is poor, he is not having money, he will not be able to reach to food, or will not get money, he will not get the proper food, dietary food. So these are the dimensions, again, availability, accessibility and affordability. And this three dimensions that conclude this food security is ensured in a country if if and only if enough food is available for all the person. That is, if you have say three people and only food is available for 2, then this is not food security. This person is still food insecure. He is insecure. All persons have the capacity to buy food of good quality, not only food, but the food should be of good quality or acceptable quality that he can eat, and there should be no barrier on access to food. This is food security. So why there is necessity of food security? Why we require everyone, every citizen, every poor to have food? We want, or food security is required in a country to ensure food at all the times. That is, no one, not a single person in the country dies of hunger. He may die for other causes, because of other reasons, but not because of not getting enough food. And for a country or for any region, geographical region, there can be a possibility of natural calamity. There can be a problem, right? And whenever there is some natural disaster or natural calamity like the earthquake, drought, flood, tsunami, widespread failure of crops, and this cause famine. And mostly the poorest section of the society, they are affected by this. That is why they are more food insecure. They'll not get food here. Now, whenever there is a natural calamity like this, for example, widespread failure of crops. So when the failure of crops happen, the price of food grain will increase. The price will increase, and when the price will increase, the poor people will not be able to buy it, and there will be a shortage. There will be a shortage and price will go up. And at this price, poor people or some people may not buy it. And if this calamity goes on and on for say 1 month, 2 months, or even an year, if it stretches for a longer time, then this may cause in starvation, right? Bhukmari, starvation. And then massive starvation might turn into famine. That is, famine is akal. That is, this natural calamity, if it happens, it will adversely affect everyone. That is why we need food security. So we just talked about famine and starvation. So in 1943 in Bengal, this is a very, very important thing. A famine took place, and this was a very devastating famine that took place in Bengal, and 30 lakh people died. How many? 30 lakh people died. The price of rice, the staple diet of the food in the region, it increased sharply at this time. So the famine is characterized by the widespread death, as you see, because of the starvation, because of the epidemics, because of the diseases, because people are forced to drink unhealthy or impure water, the decaying food, the loss of the body resistance due to weakening from starvation. This may happen. That is why we don't want any situation like famine and starvation. That is why everyone should have the food security. No one should be food insecure. If you see this, these are the pictures of this 1943 famine that happened in Bengal, and you can see the situation. Here the people are leaving the region where they live, because if they stay here, they will die. After this 1943, fortunately, India has not faced, our country has not faced any famine like this. So there is, after independence, we have no famine like this. But still, there are places in Odisha like Kalahandi and Kashipur, and there are other places like Baran district in Rajasthan, in the Baran district, and then we have Palamau, that is Palamau in Jharkhand. This is in Jharkhand, and all these remote areas we always hear death due to starvation, death due to not eating proper food or not access to food. So this is happening in our country. That is why we need food security. So as we just saw that who are the food insecure people? How and when will you decide that this person is a food insecure? Mostly the people who are not having money or who are poor. For example, those who are not getting food and nutrition properly. And if you go to rural areas, that is Gramin Kshetra, the landless laborers, agriculture laborers, the traditional artisans, the petty self-employed workers who are employed by themselves, who don't have land. If you come to urban areas, that is the Nagariya Kshetra, you'll see beggars, the homeless people, they don't have anyone there, and beggars, they don't, they are only eating when they get some money from someone. And also casual laborers who don't get employed every time. That is, they are ill paid. And some construction migrants, people who are in construction and they have migrated from somewhere. And there are workers who only get seasonal jobs. All these people are food insecure. That means the availability, accessibility, and the third one, affordability of food can diminish for them anytime. They might not get food, proper food anytime because they are vulnerable, they are food insecure. And mostly if you talk about women, the pregnant women or nursing mothers who are feeding their child, right? And the children, especially the women kids who are 5 years old and less, they are food insecure. So the second NHFS, that is the National Health Family Survey, and this conducted during 1998 and 99, it estimated about 11 crore women and children in India, they are food insecure. And this is the time 1998-99. So this has come up that 11 crore, this is a very huge amount, that this amount of women, our half, you can say the population, among them 11 crore, they are facing this problem. And apart from this region, these people, the region also, there are different regions. See, if this is a region, okay, somebody is living here, it is very difficult if something happens to reach him. So there are places also which are insecure, food insecure regions. So those places like the states which are, or the regions which are economically backward states, where the level of poverty or the nirdhanta is too much. The tribal people, the people who are living in very arid or remote areas, and those places which are generally shocked by natural disasters, like the eastern and southern or southeastern parts of Uttar Pradesh, the Bihar, the Odisha, the Jharkhand, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and there are parts of Madhya Pradesh also. And here we have large number of food insecure people. So before I go ahead and talk about hunger, let me take the story of Ramu and Ahmed. Now what I'm trying to suggest here is you just try to understand what problems they are facing, what is the food insecurity they are facing, why we need food security. So now Ramu is casual laborer in agriculture in Raipur village. He has an eldest son, Somu, 10 years old, and he works with Sarpanch and look after the cattle of Satpal Singh. Somu is employed whole year, he is just given 1,000 rupees. Can you imagine? 1 year, 1,000 rupees. Ramu has 3 more sons and 2 more daughters. They are too young to work in the field. Ramu's wife, Sunahari, also work a part-time as a house cleaner for the livestock, and she removes and manages cow dung. She gets half liter milk and some cooked food along with vegetables. If she also works with a husband like Ramu in busy seasons, and that supplements the earning of the family. Now agriculture is quite a seasonal activity, because once you are sowing, transplanting, that is the time you are this Ramu is required. But and all when the end time, that is the harvesting time comes, then Ramu is required. But in between, when the crop is growing by itself, Ramu is berozgar. He is unemployed for 4 months. 4 months he is unemployed. So he goes for some bricklaying work in some construction activities. And with all these efforts, he is still hand to mouth. He can't even buy essential foods for 2 square meals or 2-time food for his family. Like milk and vegetable, which are not a regular part of meals in the family, because the kids need milk, they need proper vegetable. Ramu is food insecure for these 4 months because of the agriculture the seasonal agriculture or seasonal nature of agriculture labor job. That is how 4 months he's insecure as far as the food insecurity is concerned. So I hope you got the idea what is the problem faced by Ramu. Now let us come to Ahmed. Ahmed is a rickshaw puller in Bangalore. Now he shifted from somewhere with Jumri Talai actually, and 3 brothers and 2 sisters and old parents. He stays in a jhuggi, and the survival of whole the family is on the shoulder of Ahmed. Now he is pulling rickshaw. Sometimes he gets employment, sometimes he doesn't get. So he is also hand to mouth. He is not able to buy, or he may buy some day-to-day accessibilities or necessities. Now there is one very good thing, which is he has a PDS card because he is below poverty line. He has a public distribution card. You might have seen the the shops in your vicinity, in your area. These are the public distribution system. For that you have to have a card, and Ahmed has this card. So he gets wheat, rice, sugar and kerosene oil for his daily use, and that is quite less than the market price. So this is how he manages the thing with the use of PDS. He is able to, not very much, but still he is able to manage the family food needs. So you see, he is also food insecure sometimes, but because of the public distribution system and because of a card he is having below poverty line, he is able to manage the things, not very properly, but he is able to manage. So let me tell you, this public distribution system is going to come. We'll talk about that in a detail. But here, let me talk to you about hunger. So food security has a very important aspect of hunger. Hunger means when you feel like eating and you don't get, so you are hungry. To create food security, this hunger should be removed, and anything which is going to happen in the future, that is a possibility of hunger, should be reduced. So hunger has 2 dimensions. One is chronic hunger, other is seasonal hunger. Like Dirghakalik Bhukmari and Mausami Bhukmari. Chronic hunger and seasonal hunger. So this I'll talk to you about chronic and seasonal just now. But before that, NHFS again in 1998 has a large scale, this one we are talking about. A multi-round survey conducted in a representative sample of households throughout the India. And these 3 rounds of survey has been conducted. And what idea did they get? The survey provided essential data on health and family welfare needed by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And there are various agencies for policy making and programs to make the information on important emerging health and family welfare issues which are required to be governed by the government to be put in place so that this hunger should not be there. So there was a survey, and finally government got the idea, and they did a lot of things which we'll talk about. So there are 2 types of hunger. One is chronic hunger. What is the chronic hunger? A person, he's eating food, but he is not eating proper food. He's not eating nutritious food. He's not getting food properly. He's eating, he's alive, but he's not getting nutritious food, not a balanced diet, not a regular diet. So these chronic hungers happen in this way. It is a consequence of diet regularly deficient in quantity and quality. That is the quality, that is everything should be there in a food, proper food. Dal, chawal, sabzi, all these should be there. So this is caused due to lack of income to buy food for survival. If you're not able to buy everything, you'll be only eating, say, bread and onion, bread, and sometimes people eat salt only. So this is chronic hunger, and this has reduced actually in rural areas from 2.3% of household in 1983 to 0.7% in 1999-2000. In urban areas, it has reduced to 0.8 from 0.8 to 0.3 during the same period. So as I said, chronic hunger, because people don't eat proper food, they don't get easily the balanced diet. That is why they face the chronic hunger. Now the seasonal hunger. What is the seasonal hunger? Let me take you an example of Ramu. Ramu works for when the sowing is done, right? He works now when the crop is growing by itself. For 4 months, he doesn't get the job. And then when the proper harvesting is done, he gets the job. So for these 4 months, this is seasonal hunger. He and his family doesn't get proper food in this time. So it is related to the seasonal cycle. This seasonal hunger is related to the seasonal cycle of this food growing and harvesting. That is, the agriculture laborers, they don't get, or this, you can say that in a Grameen area, rural areas, this kind of seasonal labor, the seasonal problem is there. But if you come to urban areas, the construction activity, if there is rain time or monsoon time, the construction doesn't take place. So this is a seasonal hunger. And if you see, I'll just talk about this table in a bit. And this malnutrition is one more important thing. And this malnutrition is a condition when you are not eating proper nutrients in good proportion. You are eating the diet in wrong proportions. So India is aiming what? It is aiming, our country's aim is self-sufficiency. We want the food grains to be proper. So India has adopted, the government has adopted all the possibility, all the policies for self-sufficiency in food grains. So then came the Green Revolution. So by 1960 and from 1970 actually, 1960 the problem was still there, and there was a NSSO survey, and it came up and it showed there is a problem. So 1970 government took up the challenge of Harit Kranti or Green Revolution. So now this 1960 and 1970, as I said, the HYV seeds, variety seeds, and different types of modern farming methods were done. So wheat and rice were produced, and the highest rate was in Punjab and Uttar Pradesh of this wheat and rice. So food grain produced jumped from 7.23 million in this time to 78.9 million in 2012 and 13. So 78.9 lakh ton, that is million tons, were produced, and this is the highest up till now. But there are other places where this food production was not that much. Okay, this is called wheat revolution. Actually, Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, she introduced a dark ticket, and this was a very impressive progress of Green Revolution of agriculture by releasing a special stamp which was entitled Wheat Revolution in July 1968. And this was just because the people, the farmers, they worked hard and actually made this Green Revolution happen. And now India is self-sufficient because of this amount of surplus, or you can say adhishesh grains we have. So FCI, this Food Corporation of India, was set up, and this what happens here. Food Corporation of India is an Indian organization or a government organization. What it does is this FCI, and this was set up under the Food Corporation Act 1964, and this was to safeguard the farmers and also to distribute the food grains which are in surplus amount and throughout the country. So PDS system and maintaining the satisfactory level of operation and buffer stocks also. So Food Corporation of India, it buys the wheat and rice from the farmer, and before the crop they introduce or they declare the minimum support price. Now before even starting the crop activity, the farmer is aware that this is the minimum support price he is going to get. For example, for 100 kilos, that is 1 ton, he may get say 1,000 rupees. So he is aware. Now he sells the food which is adhishesh extra with him to FCI. Now FCI takes it with all the farmers. Now the FCI keeps or bhandaran or stores all these grains like rice and wheat, and this is sent to the public distribution system of various area. And these areas are what? These areas are different regions, and having this public distribution system is nothing but the ration shops in your area. So this happens, and from there you have a BPL card or below poverty line card or APL card. You go and you get the rice, grain, etc. in very less amount, 2 rupees, 3 rupees per kg. Now minimum support price, this is the price, as I said, this is the price at which the government and through the FCI they do it. FCI, Food Corporation of India, purchases, buy the crops from the farmers. Now farmers are also happy because they have someone so that they can sell their stuff, what they have created. Now we have 27 crops being purchased with such prices, including variety of cereals, pulses, oil seeds, fiber crops and others in our country. Security in India, we talked about the Green Revolution that started in early 1970s. Since then, our country has avoided any kind of famine, even during when the weather conditions are adverse. India has now become self-sufficient in food grains during the last 30 years because of various variety of crops being grown. Food grains availability, even in the conditions which are adverse, you can say the weather conditions are adverse, it is ensured by some government plans, and these are food security system by the government, and this consists of maintaining the buffer stock of food grains along with the, so we have first thing is buffer stock along with the public distribution system for the eatables, that is the staple food ingredients, food grains and other essential items. So what is this buffer stock? Let me tell you in a layman language that your family requires say 10 eggs. So your father brings 12 eggs. Why? Because of the contingency situation, this 2 is extra. So this 2 extra is the buffer. Normal way we talk that this 2 is extra or buffer. So buffer stock, it is the stock of food grains which is mainly consisting of wheat and rice, and this is procured by the government, which is purchased by the government, and this wheat and rice is purchased from the farmers by whom? Through FCI, Food Corporation of India, FCI. These farmers who have surplus production, and mostly the states which are producing surplus, they are, FCI is taking from them, and they, before the crop are grown, they are announcing the minimum support price, and now the farmer on this minimum support price, they sell their wheat and rice to the FCI. Now the farmer which has given surplus, say wheat or grain here, this is the buffer stock with FCI. Now this stock is maintained. Now the FCI, you can understand, now it has different kind of wheat, grain, wheat, rice, etc. here, which they have procured from farmer. Now they send it to the PDS, public distribution system. So there is a proper network, and this finally comes to your, if you are living here, there will be a shop. Okay, this is a ration shop, and here you get what? You get wheat, you get rice, you get the kerosene oil, you get sugar at very less price, say 2 to 3 rupees like this per kg you get. So this is coming from this FCI godowns and this storage area or this place, and these are being procured from the surplus stock which are there with the farmer. So this is how the things are done, and this is sold in the ration shop in a very subsidized rate, as I said, 2 rupees, 3 rupees like this, and which is very less than, because if you go to a market, say if you go to a market, you buy sugar for say 50 rupees per kg, but here because it is subsidized, which is called as the issue price, which is quite lower than the, if you go to ration shop, then the price is quite less, that is called the issue price. So you may get this in say 2 rupees or 3 rupees or 5 rupees per kg, right? Now this stock which we have in FCI, this has drastically resolved the problem and reduced the problem of calamity if it happens, or any adverse weather condition if it happens. Then also we have surplus or enough amount of food to feed our citizens, our people. So there are certain programs, various programs for food security in India. Some programs are there which doesn't involve food security, but they are started with an intent that food security will be somewhere there. So in mid 1970s, what happened? NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Organization, this reported the high incidence of poverty level. They said in their report that the poverty level is higher, and because of this, 3 very important intervention programs or Atakshe program, they were introduced. First was the public distribution system for food grains that we just saw, and integrated child development services, we call it as ICDS, and the third one is food for work program. So this means that the public distribution system, the government, as I said, FCI through FCI, Food Corporation of India, they procure from the farmers or from the rich state or the states which produce rich or surplus amount of grains, and then they send it to the poorer section of the society through a network which is called public distribution system. And it goes to ration shops in various localities, villages and towns and cities. And there are about 5.5, it has grown. This is just idea I am giving you. There are more than 5.56 lakhs ration shop all over the country, and these are also called as fair price shops. So ration shop or public distribution shop or ration shop can also be called as fair price shop. So now these ration shop, you will find food grains, sugar, kerosene, oil for cooking. That is the basic material which is required for a poor to live a proper life, to eat, to feed their kids and kin. And these prices, as I said, they are very, very less. And if you have a ration card and if you are below poverty line right now, then you will get a very good amount of, say, 30 kgs of grains for one person, 5 liters of kerosene for one person, 5 kg of sugar per person. In every month you can go and to this fair price shop or ration shop and you can get it. Now, apart from this, we have this ration cards. This has been divided now. So there are different colored for easy recognition. That is, we have below poverty line, that is those which are poor, and above poverty line. So these are the two distinctions which are generally seen. Then there are certain more programs like Antodaya card for the poorest of the poor. That means we have poor, but there are people who are poorest of poor. Antodaya is for those who are living in very remote areas and they are very poor. Antodaya was for them. Antodaya means, Ant means end. That is, the person who is standing on the in the end of the queue. For them, the food should be available. Then the BPL card for families which are below poverty line, as I said here. And then we have APL, that is APL cards for others which are above poverty line. So these are the three kinds of cards being issued, or you can say ration cards being issued. Now this rationing, it is a term given to government controlled distribution of resources and scarce goods or services. And this restricts how much people are allowed to buy or consume at a particular time with a particular period. So this rationing in India was introduced way back in 1940s because of the backdrop of Bengal famine. As I earlier mentioned, 30 lakh died there. But it was revived. It was revived in the wake of acute food shortage during the 1960s prior to the Green Revolution. So this was properly revived or rejuvenated. So this is the picture of one of the ration shop, how you go and take food and various other items with very low price. So let me just take you through this one. We discussed it already. These are some important feature of this public distribution system. This PDS, you can see the price, right? Up to 1992, everyone could get everything in the ration shop, whatever is available there. And the wheat and rice cost were just 2.34 rupees per kg. The rice cost was only 2.89 per kg. Similarly, there was a revised PDS, especially for the backward blocks, and it was being decided rationing was done 20 kg of food grains, and the price is here. It is way less than what you get in the normal market. Then this is TPDS, that is for poor and non-poor, both of them. Again, the prices are here. Now the fixed value was 35 kg of food grains, so it was increased in 1997. Then the Antodaya for poorest of the poor, it was started in 2000. And then for the people, for the senior citizens, means those citizens which are senior and they are poor also. For this APS system was introduced in 2000 only. And for the senior citizen, 10 kg of food grains and without any price, free. If someone is above 60, he is poor, he has BPL, he will get things for free. And this is a very good thing which was introduced by the government. Now, what is the current status of PDS? Previously, PDS, when it was started, public distribution system, there was no discrimination. Poor and non-poor, they all get the food or whatever is there in the ration shop. So then in 1992 it was quite revised. If you see here, in 1992 it was revised. It was called as Revised Public Distribution System. So it was Revised Public Distribution System, and that was started in 1700 blocks of the country to provide benefits now to those people who live in remote and backward, that is poorest of the poor. And in 1997 what happened? Targeted Public Distribution System, this is TDPS, Targeted Public Distribution System, was introduced for those areas which are poor, means target the poor in all the areas, and with a lower issue price. Now the issue price, that is the price in which the people can get the food grains, was very low. Now it was being decreased. Then year 2000, two special schemes, as we just saw, Antodaya Anna Yojana and Annapurna scheme. So this Antodaya was for the poorest of poor. That is, in 2000 it was launched, and 1 crore of poorest among the BPL, below poverty line, these were covered under this TPDS, Targeted Public Distribution System, were identified, and they were being fed. So poor families were identified by the respective state rural department development departments through a below poverty line BPL survey, and 25 kg of food grains were made available to each eligible family member at a highly subsidized rate, and this subsidized rate was very less, 2 per kg, 2 rupees per kg and 3 rupees per kg. And then in 2002 the amount was also increased, not only 25 kg, now they may get it 35 kg per person. Then came the Annapurna, this scheme Annapurna, and this is for the indigent senior citizen, that is 10 kg for free for senior citizens. Those who are not receiving any pension, they don't have any source of income, they have no family support, or you can say they are destitute, those senior can get 10 kg for free. And this was a very important program, Annapurna scheme. So these were all programs, and there are, this PDS was quite successful. Right now also it is very successful. First of all, this public distribution system, why it was remarkable? It helped the government to stabilize the food grain prices so that it is available to consumers at affordable rates. Everyone could get it. So the price is common, price is fixed, that is, everyone can get it. And it also avoid the hunger and famine situation, widespread this hunger and famine situation, by supplying food from surplus region to the deficit ones. Like Punjab, they are creating a lot of wheat, so that they can be taken to those places where hunger and famine is there. And it also helped in increasing the food grain production, besides providing income security to farmers, that is MSP they are getting in some areas. So this PDS has multifold remarkable achievement. But the thing is, there were criticism also for PDS, because the government can start a program, but the implementation, execution is very important. So it needs to be improved because of certain reasons. First of all, the buffer stocks are much higher than the rules. In some FCI go down, if you see, if the buffer stock is say 10 and the FCI go down is having 15, so 5 is extra. So this FCI go downs, the grains which are here, they are getting damaged, eaten by rats. There's still so much of food, but somewhere in India people are dying of hunger. High level of this buffer stock, say of 65.3 million tons of wheat in 2014, was much more than the minimum level of the buffer norms which were there at that time. So the excess stock of food grains bought from farmer at high rates, prices leads to high carrying cost for the government, besides leading to deterioration of and wastage also. Because if something has to be kept here, it has to be looked after. So the money is involved. You have to take care of the food grains, because there are different food grains, and all these problems damaging, eaten up by the rats, you have to take care. So it involves the cost, high cost. Then there were other states which pressurized the government to increase the MSP, the minimum support price, and this pressurizing also, if the MSP is increased, then it will be the pressure on the government, and the, you can say, national income, you can say. So the buying of food grains is concentrated in few prosperous states only, that is Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and not in other places. So most of the food grains are taken and the MSPs and the prices are given to the farmers here. The high MSPs that have made farmers to cultivate wheat and rice. So now if MSP is higher, say if you are giving 1000 rupees for 100 kg or 1 ton, and you are giving say 500 rupees for say jawar or bajra. So now nobody is going to grow jawar or bajra. Everyone is going to grow wheat or rice only. And for poor people, this jawar and bajra, that is called that is the big grains, they are very important. So now this soil degradation, if you see, if the rice especially, it needs a lot of water, and it results in the degradation of the land also and depletion of the water table. So all these problems came up and people were just not willing to grow jawar and bajra because they are getting higher MSP prices for the wheat and rice. So these were the criticism of PDS. And there were people who were doing malpractices also. This PDS, when it became effective in various regions of the country, the dealers who were in the ration shop, what they started doing, they were doing some malpractices. First of all, the good grains, they are diverting or taking it to the market because they were getting better margin. They are selling only the poor quality in the ration shop to the poor people, and they may open it say on Tuesday, sometime in Friday. People are coming every day, so they are irregularly opening the ration shop, or you can say they have to open it every day almost, but they are not doing this. And these malpractices, if you see, that those people, especially the above poverty line, because you know this poverty line, there may be people who are just above poverty line and they need these food, they need it from ration shop, but they are not getting it. And even if they are getting it maybe in a higher price. So if in the normal market they are getting it say in 10 rupees, here the BPL are getting in, make it 100. So in the BPL people are getting it for 2 rupees. APL might be getting it say for 60 rupees. So why they will buy it from here? They'll go and buy it for 70 rupees, good stuff somewhere, or maybe 100. So this is the problem. APL who are just above the BPL, they didn't find it better, right? So these were the irregularities that we see here. Government started giving subsidy also. So what is the subsidy? It is a payment that government makes to producer to supplement the market price of commodity. That is, government adds up from their pocket. Subsidy helps in keeping the consumer prices low while maintaining higher incomes for domestic producers. I'll give you an idea. See, the FCI buy from the farmer, say in 100 rupees for say 100 kg. Now the FCI is buying in 100 rupees. Now it is selling it for say 2 rupees or 1 rupees in the ration shop. So who is going to suffer, or who is going to give this difference of amount? Of course the government gives, and that is the subsidy. Means the amount which government add in order to give it for such a low price, because actually they are buying from the farmer in a good price. So this is the subsidy. Then we have ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Services. In 1975, it was introduced as on the experimental basis. The aim is to provide children up to 6 years of age supplementary nutrition, immunization, health checkup and referral service, preschool, non-formal education, as well as nutrition and health education for their mothers. This was ICDS after the NSSO survey. Then Food for Work. The main objective is that you work and you take money. We are not giving you wage or money. You come and I'm not going to give you money. You come here and I'll give you the food in return for unskilled, especially the unskilled laborers and those who get less employment. Then the National Food for Work program. This program was launched in 14 November 2004 in 150 most backward places or districts of the country. And the objective was simply to intensify the generation of supplementary wage employment. And the program is open to all rural poor who are in need of wage employment and they desire to do some manual skilled work. It is implemented as a 100% central government sponsored scheme, and the food grains are produced to the states free of cost. The collector is the nodal officer at the district level and has the overall responsibility of planning, implementation, coordination, monitoring and supervision. The program for 2005 has since been subsumed with the NREGA, that is the Rural Guarantee Act. Then the poverty alleviation programs, PAPs, that is Garibi Hatao program. Over the last few years, several PAP programs were launched mostly in rural areas and some of them being restructured. So some of the programs that have explicit food components, others they may be different but they have somewhere food involved. So employment programs which improve food security by increasing the income of the poor. If poor is having a good income, he may be able to buy good stuff. For instance, the Rural Wage Employment Program, Employment Guarantee Scheme, the Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana and Midday Meal, all are there for food security. Basically, they have roots with the food security only. Now, apart from the government, there are cooperatives in food security. They are involved. Cooperatives are what? See, some people they come together, they do the same business, so they make a society, they make a cooperative, and then they share the profit and loss together. Now, the role which is played by these cooperatives in food security is very important, especially in southern and western parts of the country. And this cooperative society, they set up shops to sell low price goods to poor people. For instance, out of all fair price shop in Tamil Nadu, about 94% in Tamil Nadu shops, they are being run by the cooperatives only. So these examples show, we just take some more examples now, how this has contributed to food security. In Delhi, we have Mother Dairy, and this Mother Dairy, we get very good quality of milk and vegetable at a very fair price to the consumer. And who controls the price of this milk and vegetable? Government of Delhi. Amul is a very, very important name. This is another success story of cooperatives in milk and milk products from Gujarat. And this Amul has brought white revolution. The milk is white, that is why it is white revolution in the country. In Maharashtra, if you see, we have ADS, that is Academy of Development Science. And this has facilitated a network of NGOs, non-government organizations for setting up of grain banks in different regions. Apart from this, ADS does what? It organizes training and capacity building also for food security for the non-government organization. So this ADS grain bank program is acknowledged properly by the government, by the people as successful and innovative food security intervention. So there are various other agencies also which are working with themselves or with the government to ensure the food security. So what we saw in this discussion is food security of a nation is ensured if all the citizens have enough nutritious food available. So there are three things which are availability, accessibility and affordability. Everyone should get food properly with proper price. Those who are below poverty line, they are susceptible, they are vulnerable to become food insecure. Everyone should get good food and nutritious food. Everyone should be food secure. Also, those people who are ill paid or casual laborers, various rural and urban region, and also the tribal and remote area people, the regions where more natural disasters happen, they all become food insecure very, very easily. So the government has taken good steps. First of all, buffer stock and public distribution system they have taken up. This public distribution system is basically the ration shop you have nearby, and it is a successful program. Apart from this, the programs government has initiated is ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Services, then FFW, that is Food for Work, and midday meals. Apart from this, the Antodaya Anna Yojana, and there are various others which the government has started to reach the most end person in the line who requires the food. Apart from that, the cooperatives and NGOs are also working in this field to make India food secure.